Now, how would you react to the information we received that by a candidate for the City Council Central District, Boy Morson, that you guys have not essentially applied this appropriately, or not, you guys have not engaged these minority communities?
I would say that that's really a misinformed statement, because when you look and you talk with, the dialogues that we did and the outreach, I think it's a misinterpretation of what the original grant was for and what the purpose was. I mean, part of the purpose was to educate our staff on cultural issues, to train the community, but to engage the community. And you look at the numbers, they speak for themselves. Look at the amount of people that have participated in our 2 new events. Those have both doubled the minority participation, the amount of youth commissioners that we have that are from the minority community. I guess I haven't heard the allegations or seen it, but I mean, we have definitely gone above and beyond what the grant requirements were, and we're going to continue to do that, and we're raising money to do that. So I guess I don't know, unless there's a specific allegation he says, you use money for this and not for this. I would say it's not my interpretation or accurate of what happened.
Now, but have you engaged the Liberian community, for example?
I think we have. I mean, I don't know, communication is a two-way street. We have Liberian members on our planning committees. We've sent invitations to all of the Liberian organizations, that I know of. I have a community list that all of our community groups get all of our events. I've personally attended Liberian events. I've personally invited Liberian members to attend our events. I had a Liberian intern this last year. If there's a Liberian organization out there that's not getting information from me, I need to know about you. I can't engage or connect with you if I don't know about you.
Okay. Now, did you involve the OLM in this particular grant? And also, you think the Mcknight Foundation is happy with your engagement process?
I think everything, and Katie, more of the stuff that's come back, from Mcknight, I mean, they've got a lot of, as we say, a bang for their buck. The Liberian community asked for training for CPR for members. We provided that last fall. The dialogues, that they wanted, some of the events they wanted, the suggestions we got from the Liberian community. Not only OLM, and I think, all of our community organizations were involved in this. They all were invited to forums. They all received the information of this grant, of things we were doing. They were all asked for suggestions. So I don't want to just say the OLM, we have our Latino groups, our Hmong groups, there's different OLM or Liberian groups out there. The Liberians Women Initiative, MAWA, both, were part of our planning process in 2 parts of our grant. So we tried to engage all of our community groups and ask for their input. Did we go specifically to OLM and ask them how we should spend this money? No, we asked all of our community groups. And this grant was for civic engagement. Civic engagement is connecting with all of your community groups. This isn't a grant like our community development block grants, which we sent out to all of our minority groups, and we made a special process this year. I think people misunderstand. We were the grantee. We received money to do activities for this grant. The community block grants is where we're granted money to give to the community. And we did have some Liberian groups apply for it, but this wasn't a grant for us to give money to community groups or community organizations. We applied for this grant so we could provide cultural training, send staff to community events, provide food at some of our cultural events, which our public purpose expenditure money doesn't always allow. So, I mean, I'm very confident that we met our grant requirements, and we went above and beyond that. But if people have suggestions, they can let Katie, Robin, or myself know on how we can better engage our community. That's one of our long-term goals.
Now, what would you say that the Mcknight Foundation will say about the implementation of this grant? And if you were to summarize your report, how would you describe the report?
I'm not the grant reporter. I'm one of the components of it, but coming from the nonprofit world, I think they're going to be really pleased. They've already issued a subcomponent of our grant, another grant. I mean, they've suggested that we apply for future fundings to continue our work from what their preliminary results saw. So I think Mcknight is going to be ecstatic, actually, about what we were able to accomplish. $50,000 for what we did. We spent a lot more money and time and resources than that to do everything in a short period of time. I mean, we've seen huge results. I mean, the numbers of residents that have become engaged, that are getting information from us, that are coming to meetings now, is significantly more than it was 2 years ago, and that was our goal. And we have really good strategies that we're starting to work on, implement, how to outreach to not only minority and immigrant members of our community, but our youth as well. And the old way of just sending a flyer out doesn't work, but it takes resources and times to go to different community meetings, go to different groups, and you've seen that that's starting to work. So as a whole, I've said that I would say, just in one word, I'm really ecstatic. You saw me earlier, but I'm really pleased with what happened with the Mcknight grant and the foundation that it's laid for us to connect all members of our community.
Now, while Mr. Boyd obviously must have gotten some information on this grant and he's disappointed, why would you just dismiss his concern and not understand that it's possible that certain things might have gone wrong with the process of implementation?
I never dismiss anyone's concerns, but you have to give me, when people say, I don't like the way things are, or that was done wrong, give us an example of what. You can't answer allegations that, blatant, I don't want to say blatant allegations, but broad accusations, say, this money, I don't think you met this requirement grant because you did this, this, and this. Mr. Morson has made these allegations since we received the grant, even before we started implementing it. I think the first time he made that statement was at a human rights meeting. So if there's a specific incident, I think his belief is that the money should have gone instead of the city. I think he's under the assumption that we were granted the money, like community block grants, to give to the community. And I think he has a misinterpretation of that. That's not what the grant was for. It wasn't money to give to like OLM or ASA or the Women's Initiative or Hmong American Partnership to do activities. It was for us to train, as I said earlier, and do civic engagement. I think Mr. Morson, and I can only make assumptions because he just says we're not using it wrong, but he never gives any specific examples, or I haven't heard them. And as I said, I haven't heard them for over a year. I just hear rumors for what he's saying. I think his assumption is that the money, we were given this $50,000 to be a grant, like a walkthrough like community block grants are, which is not accurate. We wrote this grant, Mcknight was the grantor, they gave us, the city, the money to do these activities. Sometimes cities and government agencies get money like the community block grants. Sometimes the Bremer Foundation will have a city be a financial run through and people apply for grants with them. That's not the case in the Mcknight funding.
Okay, just lastly, what you think that the Liberian community, the Hmong community will say about this grant if they were asked, for example?
I think I can only go by the members that I've worked with and as a whole, but I think, if you ask the people that have been on our Multicultural Advisory Commission, the people that have gotten involved in the last year, I think they would all say that, this grant has made a huge impact in outreach and making them get involved and feel welcome.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.